The scent of rot is the first thing I know each morning. It is a damp, clinging perfume of old hay, manure, and the sour sweat of beasts. For 5 years, this has been my world, the stables of the Alpha King. Here, in the shadows, I am safe. Here, I am invisible. My hands are raw, my nails permanently edged with dirt, but the work is a kind of prayer. It is honest. It keeps the whispers at bay, the pitying glances from the pack members who see what I am, or rather, what I am not. I am Ilara, and I am wolfless. In a world defined by the beast within, I am an empty vessel, a flaw. Omegas have their place, their gentle natures a balm to the pack's frayed edges, but a wolfless omega is a glitch in the goddess's grand design. My parents, before they were lost to a border skirmish, were low-ranking warriors. Their wolves proud but unremarkable. They left me with nothing but their shame, a ghost that walks beside me in the form of my own silence. I cannot feel the thrum of the pack bond, that invisible web of instinct and emotion that connects everyone. I hear their howls at the full moon, not as a song of belonging, but as a lament for the part of me that is missing. So, I clean. I brush down the great war horses, their earthy scent a comfort. I muck out the stalls of the elite guards' wolves, their powerful musky scent, a constant, painful reminder of my lack. They tolerate my presence, their intelligent eyes watching me with a mixture of curiosity and disdain. I am less than them, a human servant in a world of gods. Today, the entire citadel hums with a nervous energy that has nothing to do with me. Banners of silver and black, but the colors of the Black Moon Pack, are being hung from the stone ramparts. The air, usually thick with the scent of pine from the surrounding forest and roasting meat from the kitchens, is now laced with something more refined. Beeswax, polished wood, and the expensive perfumes of visiting nobles. It is the night of the lunar gala, the one night a year Alpha King Draven opens his court to the leaders of the allied packs. I am meant to be working, ensuring the visiting Alphas' mounts are settled, but a morbid curiosity pulls me toward the Great Hall's service entrance. From here, I can just see the throng of powerful bodies, the shimmer of silk and velvet, the glint of firelight on sharp canines. The air is a dizzying cacophony of scents, 1,000 different wolves packed into one space, their power a physical pressure against my skin. It makes the empty space inside me ache with a hollow, cavernous loneliness. Then he enters, Alpha King Draven. The room does not fall silent, but the energy shifts, coalescing around him like iron filings to a lodestone. He is taller than everyone, his shoulders a testament to the raw power contained in his frame. I have only ever seen him from a distance, a figure of awe and terror, the ruler whose horses I tend to. But now, even from across the hall, the force of his presence is a tangible thing. The scent that cuts through the perfumed air is his alone. A storm gathering over a pine forest, the clean, sharp smell of ozone before a lightning strike, and something deeper, more ancient, like petrified wood and raw power. It is terrifying. It is magnificent. I should look away. I should retreat into the shadows of the stables where I belong. But I am frozen, a moth mesmerized by a coming inferno. His gaze sweeps the room, a king surveying his domain. His eyes are the color of molten silver, and they hold an arrogance that has been earned through generations of absolute rule. They pass over alphas and lunas, warriors and betas, and then, impossibly, they find me. They find me, the stable girl, half hidden in a grimy doorway, smelling of hay and animal sweat. The world does not slow down. It shatters. The cacophony of the hall vanishes, replaced by a single, deafening roar that seems to come from the center of the earth. The scents of pine and storm and ancient power are no longer just in the air. They are inside me, flooding the hollow space, setting every nerve alight. A jolt of pure, unadulterated lightning arcs between us, a visible thing I feel in the marrow of my bones. My heart hammers against my ribs, a frantic drumbeat against the sudden, shocking silence. And for the first time in my life, something inside me stirs. A deep, dormant thing, curled asleep in the desolate quiet of my soul, lifts its head. It does not have a voice, it does not have a form, but it recognizes the scent of the Alpha King. It unfurls a single possessive thought, a word that blooms in my mind like a blood-red flower. Mine. The breath is stolen from my lungs. The mate bond. It is the stuff of legends, of songs, of every she-wolf's girlhood dream. A destiny woven by the goddess herself. And it is happening to me. To wolfless, worthless Ilara. A sudden, dizzying hope, so fierce it feels like pain, crashes over me. It is a mistake. Ah, it has to be. But the raw certainty in the pit of my stomach, the primal pull toward him that feels more real than my own skin, tells me it is not. Across the hall, Alpha King Draven is staring at me, his silver eyes wide with the same dawning shock, the same cataclysmic recognition. For a heartbeat, just one, I see not a king, but a male, blindsided by fate. And in that single, fragile moment, I dare to believe that I might finally belong. The moment shatters as quickly as it was born. Draven's shock hardens into something else, disbelief. Then a flicker of cold, calculated fury. His jaw clenches, and the connection between us, that brilliant thread of lightning, wavers as if he is actively trying to sever it. His guards and advisors, sensing the shift in their alpha, close ranks around him. Their murmurs are a low hiss, their eyes flicking from him to me, their expressions turning from confusion to sneering contempt. They can smell it. They can smell the impossible bond forming between their king and me. A knot of ice forms in my stomach, chilling the fire that had just begun to burn. This is not the joyous revelation of the songs. This is a crisis. I can see it on the face of his beta, a grim-faced wolf named Valerius. He leans in, his voice a low growl I cannot hear, but can feel in the sudden tension that grips the room. Draven does not look away from me. His silver eyes have gone from molten to glacial. He is looking at me, not as his fated mate, but as a problem, a stain. My hope, so new and fragile, begins to wither. I should run. I should disappear back into the stables and pray he forgets this moment, forgets me. But my feet are rooted to the floor, held captive by the terrible gravity of his gaze. The bond, though he fights it, is still there, a live wire of sensation. Through it, I feel a tidal wave of his emotions. Shock, yes, but also a rising tide of rage. And beneath it, a cold, sharp spike of fear. Fear, an alpha king? He is afraid of me, of what I represent. Weakness, a wolfless Luna, an impurity in his perfect, powerful bloodline. He takes a step forward, then another. The crowd parts for him like the sea before a wrathful god. Every eye in the great hall is now on me, the stable girl in her dirt-smudged tunic. I am exposed, stripped bare under the weight of their collective judgment. The sense of their scorn, sour and sharp, fill my nose. I want to shrink, to become so small I cease to exist. The tiny, a nascent creature inside me whimpers, feeling the rejection before it is even spoken. Draven stops a few feet from me. The proximity is overwhelming. His scent is a physical force, wrapping around me, sinking into my skin, claiming me even as his expression condemns me. The pine and storm are there, but now they are laced with the cold fury of a blizzard. I can feel the war inside him, the battle between his primal wolf, which recognizes me, and the king, who cannot accept me. The king is winning. You, he says, and his voice is not the warm baritone of a fated mate, but the cracking whip of a monarch. It echoes in the sudden, tomb-like silence of the hall. I cannot speak. My throat is a knot of terror. I can only look at him, my heart breaking with every beat. He looks me up and down, his gaze lingering on my frayed tunic, or the dirt on my cheek. It is a dismissal in a single, sweeping glance. He is not seeing a person. He is seeing a disgrace. He turns his head slightly, addressing not me, but the entire assembly of the most powerful shifters on the continent. His voice rings out, clear and cold and utterly devoid of mercy. I, Alpha King Draven of the Black Moon Pack, he proclaims, each word a hammer blow against my soul. Reject this thing. He gestures to me with a flick of his hand, as if shooing away an insect. I reject this Wolfless Omega as my mate. She is nothing, a flaw in the lineage. She brings only shame, and I will not have my reign, my pack, my bloodline, tainted by such weakness. A collective gasp ripples through the crowd, followed by a wave of relieved, cruel murmurs. The words hang in the air, sharp and glittering and fatal. But the true agony comes from the bond. As he speaks the formal words of rejection, the beautiful, brilliant thread of lightning between us turns black, twists and snaps. The pain is indescribable. It is not emotional. It is physical. A searing, white-hot agony rips through my chest, as if my very soul is being torn in half. I scream, a raw, animal sound of pure torment that I did not know I was capable of making. I collapse to my knees, clutching my chest, the world dissolving into a gray haze of pain. The scent of pine and storm is gone, replaced by the smell of ozone and burning flesh, the smell of my own spirit being cauterized. Through the blur of my tears, I see him, Draven. He flinches, his hand flying to his own chest, a flicker of shared agony in his silver eyes before he masters it, encasing himself in ice once more. While his wolf, I realize with a distant part of my mind, is screaming. He is feeling a shadow of my pain, the backlash of severing a sacred bond. But he stands tall, his expression a mask of regal indifference, turning his back on me as I lie broken on the cold stone floor. Remove her, he commands, his voice tight. Cast her out. I never want to see her face or smell her scent in my lands again. Two of his guards haul me to my feet. My legs will not hold me. I am a dead weight between them, my head lolling, the pain a living thing clawing at me from the inside. They drag me from the hall, past the faces of the pack I have served my whole life. There is no pity in their eyes, only contempt for the girl who dared to be mated to a king, and relief that the impurity has been purged. They drag me through the courtyard. I'm past the stables that were my only home, my only sanctuary. They do not even let me gather the single threadbare blanket I own. They take me to the edge of the territory, to the ancient, gnarled trees that mark the border with the wildlands. And there, they throw me onto the cold, damp earth like a sack of garbage. You are banished, One of them growls, his lip curled in a sneer. If you are found on Black Moonland again, the penalty is death. They turn and walk away, their powerful forms swallowed by the darkness, leaving me utterly and completely alone. The pack bond I never had is an absence I am used to. But the mate bond, its ghost is a wound that bleeds and bleeds, a fire in my chest that promises to consume me. The cold of the forest floor seeps into my bones, but it is nothing compared to the chilling emptiness inside me. I lie there, curled in a ball of agony, listening to the sounds of the gala's celebration drifting on the wind, a cruel mockery of the life I almost had. My king has rejected me. My pack has abandoned me. I am nothing. And the forest, dark and full of predators, is waiting. I do not know how long I lie there, shivering and broken. Hours bleed into a night that feels endless. The pain in my chest does not subside. It settles into a deep, throbbing ache, a constant reminder of the hole Draven carved into my soul. Every breath is a struggle, every heartbeat an echo of his rejection. The cold is a physical enemy, seeping through my thin tunic, stealing the warmth from my limbs. Hunger gnaws at my belly, a familiar but now more menacing sensation. Out here, there are no scraps from the kitchen. Out here, hunger is a predator. The forest is alive with sounds I only know from the safe side of the wall. The snap of a twig, the distant howl of a lone wolf, the rustle of something unseen in the undergrowth. Every noise sends a fresh wave of terror through me. I am prey, weak, wolfless, and reeking of despair, a scent that will draw the curious and the cruel. Survival is a concept I have never had to truly consider. In the pack, even as an outcast, there was food, there was shelter. Here, there's only the unforgiving wilderness. A part of me wants to simply let go, to let the cold take me, to close my eyes and surrender to the pain, to let it be the last thing I ever feel. It would be easy. It would be a relief. Drevin's words echo in my mind. Nothing. A flaw. Shame. He is right. What am I fighting for? A life of more pain? More loneliness? I press my palm against my chest, over the source of the agony. It feels like a gaping physical wound. I imagine my life bleeding out of it, pooling on the forest floor. And as I teeter on the edge of giving up, as the sweet siren song of oblivion calls to me, something flickers. Deep inside, in that same desolate place where the word mine bloomed, a spark ignites. It is not a thought. It is not a feeling. It is a primal, stubborn refusal. Survive. The word is not mine. It feels ancient, geological, like the bedrock of the world itself. It is a command, not a suggestion. It cuts through the fog of my despair with the sharp edge of flint. My fingers, numb with cold, curl into a fist, my nails digging into my palm. The small, sharp pain is a tether to the living world. Survive. The word echoes again, stronger this time. It pushes back against the cold, against the hunger, against the all-consuming heartbreak. Why? Why survive? The question is a desperate whisper in my mind. The answer comes not in words, but in a flash of imagery. I see Draven's face, his eyes cold and cruel. I see the sneering faces of the court. I see the guards throwing me into the dirt. And a new emotion, hot and sharp, lances through me, momentarily eclipsing the pain of the bond. Rage. A pure, undiluted fury that I have never allowed myself to feel before. They will not be the end of me. I will not die as the wolfless omega they discarded. I will not let his rejection be the final word of my story. The decision settles in my bones, as solid and unyielding as the ancient command to survive. I will live. I will live to spite them all. With a groan that is part pain and part effort, I force myself to move. My limbs are stiff, my muscles screaming in protest. I push myself up onto my hands and knees. The world spins, and the ache in my chest intensifies, but I grit my teeth against it. I crawl, dragging myself toward the base of a massive oak tree, its trunk a fortress against the wind. The rough bark scrapes against my cheek as I lean against it, panting. I am alive. It is a small, bitter victory, but it is a victory nonetheless. My rock bottom is not a grave. It is a foundation, and on it I will build something new. 6 months passed in a blur of survival. The first few weeks were a brutal education. Hunger became my constant companion, a dull ache that sharpened my senses. I learned that certain roots could be eaten, and that grubs found under rotting logs were a source of protein that the tiny, tart berries growing on thorny bushes would not kill me. I learned to read the forest, to see the tracks of deer and rabbits, to know which mushrooms promised a meal and which promised a swift death. Fear was my teacher. It taught me to climb trees when the scent of rogue wolves drifted on the wind. It taught me to find shelter in hollow logs and shallow caves, to cover myself in mud and leaves to mask my human scent. The pain of the rejected bond remained, a hot coal lodged beneath my ribs, but it was no longer the all-consuming fire it had been. It was a part of me now, a source of grim fuel. Every time a wave of despair threatened to drown me, I would remember Draven's face, and the rage would burn away the sorrow, leaving a hard, determined core. My body changed. The soft, underfed girl who worked in the stables was gone. I grew lean, my muscles cording from climbing and running. My skin, tanned by the sun and toughened by the wind, was a tapestry of scratches and scars. My hands, once raw from mucking stalls, were now calloused from stripping bark and digging for roots. I was becoming a creature of the wild, as feral and resilient as the forest itself. I was no longer just surviving. I was adapting. I was hardening. One evening, as dusk painted the sky in shades of bruised purple and orange, my desperate search for food led me to a snare line. Rogues. Their scent was a foul miasma of desperation and unchecked aggression. I knew I should flee, but a rabbit, its leg caught in a crude wire loop, struggled frantically. Its terror was a palpable thing, a frantic heartbeat I could almost feel in my own chest. Pity warred with self-preservation. Before I could decide, they emerged from the trees. 3 of them. Their fur was matted, their eyes holding a crazed, hungry light. They were packless, driven mad by the isolation. They saw me, and their lips peeled back from their teeth in snarling grins. They were not just hungry for the rabbit. They were hungry for any kill. Panic, cold and sharp, seized me. I scrambled backward, my heart hammering against my ribs. There was nowhere to run, no tree close enough to climb. This was it. This was how I would die, torn apart by the very creatures I had once been shamed for not possessing. The irony was a bitter taste in my mouth. The largest rogue, a scarred brute with one milky eye, lunged. I threw my hands up in a useless gesture of defense, and a scream tearing from my throat. And then it happened. The scream was not just sound, it was force. A wave of unseen power erupted from me, slamming into the charging wolf. It was not a physical blow, but something deeper, something that struck at his very essence. The massive wolf yelped, not in pain, but in sheer primal terror, and was thrown back as if by a giant hand. He landed in a heap, whimpering, his body trembling uncontrollably. His two companions froze, their snarls dying in their throats. They stared at me, their crazed eyes now wide with confusion and a dawning instinctual fear. The world had gone silent. The air crackled with energy, and the scent of ozone and freshly turned earth, a smell I had never encountered before, rose from me. I stared at my own hands, trembling. What was that? Where did that come from? The dormant thing inside me, the one that had whispered survive, was awake now. It was not a wolf. It was something else. Something vast and ancient and powerful. It uncoiled within me, not with a growl, but with a hum of absolute authority. I looked at the two remaining rogues. I did not think. I acted. I focused on them, and with the full force of my newfound will, I issued a silent command. Bow. Their legs buckled. As one, the two powerful savage shifters collapsed onto their bellies, lowering their heads to the ground in an unquestioning act of submission. Their whining was a song of fealty. The scarred leader, still trembling, crawled forward and licked my worn boot. They were not just scared of me. They were mine. A dizzying, terrifying understanding crashed down on me. I was not wolfless. I was something more. Something older? The stories my mother used to whisper, tales dismissed as fanciful myths, flooded my memory. Stories of the first ones, of a time before alphas, when certain bloodlines could command the very beasts of the earth. A beast sovereign, a lineage thought to be extinct for 1,000 years. The power thrummed in my veins, a wild, exhilarating music. I looked at the whimpering wolves at my feet, at the terrified rabbit in the snare. I walked to the trap and with a gentle touch, unwound the wire. The rabbit, instead of bolting, nudged its head against my hand before hopping calmly into the undergrowth. I was not just a commander. I was a part of this wild world, connected to it in a way no shifter could ever be. From that day on, I was no longer a victim. I began to explore my power, testing its limits. I found I could call birds from the sky to scout for me. I could ask a bear to lead me to the richest berry patches. A pack of wild wolves, not rogues but a true family, accepted me as their leader, their fierce loyalty a balm to my lonely soul. They became my guards, my companions, my pack. The whispering woods, once a place of terror, became my kingdom. The scent of ozone and ancient earth became my own, a declaration of my new status. I was no longer Ilara, the wolfless Omega. I was the Beast Queen, and my reign was just beginning. His name is Draven, and his wolf is trying to kill him. It is a slow, methodical process, an internal war of attrition. For 6 months, since the moment he uttered the words of rejection, his other half has been a stranger, a snarling beast caged within his own skin. It claws at the inside of his ribs. Myron paces relentlessly in his mind and howls a ceaseless lament for the one they cast away. Hours, hours, hours. The word is a constant, maddening drumbeat. Sleep offers no escape. When exhaustion finally claims him, his dreams are haunted by her. He sees her as she was in that moment, her eyes wide with impossible hope. He sees the light in them die as he speaks the cruel words. He feels the echo of the bond snapping, a ghostly agony in his own chest that wakes him, gasping, his hand clutching the place where she should be. He sees her on her knees, her scream of pure torment, a sound that is now seared into his memory. Then the dream shifts, and he sees her in the forest, cold, starving, hunted. He wakes drenched in sweat. the scent of her phantom fear clinging to him like a shroud. He tries to move on. His advisors, led by the pragmatic Valerius, urge him to choose a new Luna from a powerful bloodline to solidify his reign and sire an heir. They bring him she-wolves, beautiful, powerful, and pedigreed, but their scents are like ash in his nostrils. Their touch is repulsive. When one, a bold alpha daughter from the Sunstone pack, tries to kiss him, his wolf rears up with such savage, possessive fury that he nearly shifts and tears her throat out. Not mate, not ours. After that, he stops trying. He is ruined. A king with a broken crown, a wolf with a shattered soul. His power, once an unshakable certainty, begins to fray at the edges. His commands lack their former weight. His senses are dulled, his strength diminished. The pack feels it, a subtle instability that creates an undercurrent of anxiety. He is a compromised alpha, and his weakness is a poison seeping into the heart of his kingdom. He knows the cause. An alpha's strength is tied to his wolf, and his wolf is at war with him. By rejecting his mate, he rejected the core of his own being. The pride that drove him to it now feels like the most foolish, self-destructive act of his life. He threw away his destiny for the approval of lesser men, and now he is paying the price. The first reports are dismissed as rogue activity. A border patrol, savaged. But the bodies are wrong. They are not torn, but drained. Withered husks left in the forest, their life force seemingly vacuumed out of them. Then come the whispers, shadow creatures, things that move without sound, that cannot be scented, that are immune to tooth and claw. They call them the Umbra. The attacks grow more frequent, more brazen, creeping closer to the citadel. Panic begins to take root among the outer settlements. Valerius doubles the patrols, but it is useless. The warriors are fighting ghosts. The Umbra bleed from the whispering woods, the vast, untamed wilderness that marks his southern border, the same forest into which he cast her. The thought is a cold stone in his gut. Is she dead? Did the forest, or these new horrors, claim her? The possibility sends a fresh wave of agony through him, so sharp it makes him stagger. His wolf howls in his mind, a sound of pure despair. He finds himself walking the battlements at night, staring into the dark maw of that forest, an insane hope warring with his guilt. He hopes she is alive. He hopes she is safe. He hopes for a forgiveness he knows he will never deserve. The great Alpha King, he who feared the weakness of a wolfless mate, is now brought low by his own actions. Haunted by her ghost, while a real, shadowy threat gathers on his doorstep. His kingdom is faltering, his wolf is broken, and it is all his own fault. My life finds a new rhythm, dictated by the seasons of the forest and the needs of my growing domain. Kyle finds me during the first thaw. I am tracking a herd of deer with my wolf companions when their alpha, a great gray male I call Fen, stops, his nose twitching. He gives a low growl, not of aggression, but of warning. I follow his gaze and see it. A leg-hold trap, crude and rusted, the kind favored by human poachers. And in it, the mangled leg of a shifter caught midway through a transformation. He is unconscious, his form a horrifying amalgam of man and wolf. His scent is faint, washed out by pain and blood, but it is clean. Pine and winter air, not a rogue. I approach with caution, my wolves fanning out around me, a silent gray wall of teeth. Kneeling beside him, I see the damage. The metal teeth of the trap have shattered the bone. Without help, he will die from blood loss or infection. My old self, the timid girl from the stables, would have fled. But the Beast Queen does not know fear in the same way. She knows caution. She knows command. I place my hand on the shifter's shoulder. "It is all right," I say, my voice calm and steady. "I am here to help." Using a heavy branch as a lever, I manage to pry the trap's jaws open. It takes all my strength, my muscles screaming with the effort. He groans, his eyes fluttering open. They are the color of moss, dazed and confused. He tries to shift fully, to heal. But the pain is too great. "Be still," I command softly, and the authority in my voice seems to soothe him. My wolves watch, silent and still as I work. I tear a strip from the hem of my now tattered tunic and bind his wound as tightly as I can. It is a poor substitute for a healer's skill, but it will have to do. He introduces himself later, after he has regained some strength in the sheltered overhang that serves as my home. His name is Kale. He is a beta from the Silver Creek pack, whose lands border the Whispering Woods to the east. He was tracking the poachers when he stumbled into their trap. Kale is everything Draven is not. He is quiet where Draven is commanding. His strength is a steady, gentle thing, not an oppressive force. And when he looks at me, there is no judgment in his moss-green eyes, only a deep, abiding respect. He sees my command over the animals not as an aberration, but as a miracle. "I have never seen anything like it," he says, his voice full of awe as he watches me coax a hawk onto my arm. "You are blessed." He stays. At first, it is because his leg needs time to heal, but as the weeks turn into a month, I know it is more than that. He helps me. He is a skilled builder, and together we reinforce my shelter, turning it from a simple lean-to into a defensible home built into the rock face. He teaches me how to better fight with a knife, the one weapon I scavenged from a poacher's camp. In return, I show him the secrets of the woods, the language of the beasts. His presence is a balm on the raw wound of my heart. He is kind. He is patient. He makes me laugh, a sound I thought had died in me forever. He never pushes, never demands. He simply exists beside me, a warm and steady presence. One evening, sitting by the fire, he reaches out and gently takes my hand. His touch sends no lightning through my veins. There is no cataclysmic explosion. There is only warmth, a simple, human connection that feels profoundly safe. "You are worthy of good things, Ilara," he says quietly, his thumbs stroking the back of my hand. "You deserve a life of peace." He represents a choice, a life away from the pain, the drama, the storm of the mate bond, a calm harbor. A part of me, the part that is so tired of fighting, leans toward that safety. But even as I do, the scar on my soul gives a faint, traitorous throb, a reminder of the tempest that first claimed me. And even in this peaceful sanctuary, the shadows are gathering at the edges of my kingdom. My wolves grow restless at night, on their growls low and constant, directed at something in the darkness that even I cannot see. Desperation is a bitter pill for a king to swallow. My scouts return with nothing but more bodies and more fear. The Umbra are a plague, and I have no cure. Valerius, my ever-practical beta, comes to me in the war room. Maps of our territory are spread across the great oak table, marked with the growing number of Umbra attacks. They form a clear pattern, a spearhead aimed directly at the citadel, originating from the heart of the Whispering Woods. "We have tried everything, Alpha," Valerius says, his voice grim. "Our warriors are brave, but they are fighting smoke. We have no answer. He hesitates, then points to the center of the woods on the map. But our trackers bring back stories, legends. They say the woods are no longer empty. They speak of a woman who commands the beasts. They call her a witch, a ghost, a queen. They say the wolves and bears are her army. A cold dread, mingled with a sliver of insane hope, washes over me. A woman, a queen, in those woods. It cannot be. It is a peasant's fairy tale. They say no rogue or poacher who enters her territory is ever seen again. Valerius continues, his eyes fixed on my face. But the umbra seem to flow around her domain, not through it. It is as if they fear her. Alpha. If she is real, she might be the only person who knows how to fight these things. She might be our only hope. The irony is a physical blow. To save my kingdom, I may have to seek help from a forest witch. To save the people who watched me cast her out, I have to beg. But there is no other choice. Pride has already cost me everything that truly matters. I will not let it cost me my people as well. Gather a small guard, I command, my voice hoarse. Just you and 3 others. We travel light and fast. If this beast queen is real, I will find her, and I will beg for her help if I have to. We ride for 2 days, pushing into the oppressive silence of the whispering woods. The forest feels different now, ancient and watchful. The air is thick with an energy that makes the fur on my arms stand up. My wolf, for the first time in months, is not clawing at me. It is alert, head raised, sniffing the air with a tense, focused curiosity. It smells something familiar beneath the layers of damp earth and old trees. Lilacs. Faint, almost imperceptible. But there, the scent of rain-washed lilacs. My breath catches in my throat, and we are stopped not by a patrol, but by a wall of silence. One moment, the forest is alive with the hum of insects and the call of birds. The next, utter quiet. 100 pairs of unseen eyes are watching us. From the shadows, they emerge. Wolves. Not the crazed, desperate rogues I am used to, but a pack. Large, healthy, and moving with the disciplined grace of trained soldiers. They surround us, their golden eyes glowing in the dim light, their low growls a clear warning. At their head is a massive gray wolf, his size rivaling my own shifted form. His gaze is intelligent, and it is fixed solely on me. There is no fear in him, only a calm, possessive authority. My guards draw their weapons, but I hold up a hand. Hold, I command. They are not attacking, they are escorting. The gray wolf gives a single, sharp bark, so in the pack parts, creating a path for us. They fall in around us, guiding us deeper into the woods. The scent of lilacs grows stronger, but now it is entwined with something else, something I have never smelled before. The sharp, clean scent of ozone and the deep, raw power of ancient earth. It is a scent of pure, untamed authority, and it calls to my wolf in a way nothing has since her. They lead us to a clearing, dominated by a cave set into a high rock face. It has been fortified with sharpened logs and a crude but effective wall. And standing before it, waiting for us, is a woman. My world stops. It is her, Ilara. But it is not the girl I cast out. The timid, underfed stable girl is gone, replaced by the woman who stands before me now. She is lean and hard, dressed in tanned hides and leather. A wicked-looking knife is strapped to her thigh. Her dark hair is braided back, woven with small feathers and bones. Her face is the same, yet entirely different. The softness is gone, carved away by hardship, leaving behind high cheekbones and a jaw set with unyielding strength. Her eyes, the color of rich earth, hold no fear, no hope, only a cold, regal calm. She is surrounded. The gray wolf stands at her right side. A black bear, its great head low, is at her left. A hawk is perched on her shoulder, its dark eyes fixed on me. And behind her, more wolves, foxes, even a lynx, watch from the shadows. They are her court, her pack. She is not a forest witch. She is a queen. The breath is stolen from my lungs. The hope that had been a tiny flicker now roars into a bonfire. She is alive. She is alive. And she is magnificent. She is more powerful, more beautiful, more formidable than I ever could have imagined. And the mate bond, the broken, bleeding thing that has tormented me for 6 agonizing months, screams back to life. It is not the gentle pull of recognition from the gala. It is a violent, cataclysmic explosion. 1,000 volts of raw energy slam into me, making me stagger in my saddle. The scent of her, lilac, ozone, ancient earth, is a physical blow, flooding my senses, driving my wolf into a frenzy of possessive, desperate need. Mate. Ours. Found. I look into her eyes, and I know she feels it too. A flicker of pain, of shock, crosses her face before she masters it, her expression hardening into a mask of pure ice. The agony of the reconnection is a fire in my chest, but it is a welcome pain. It is so much better than the emptiness that was there before. I dismount, my legs unsteady. My guards watch, their faces a mixture of awe and disbelief. Valerius stares, his jaw slack, finally understanding the true depth of my mistake. Ilara, I breathe, her name a prayer on my lips. She does not answer. She simply looks at me, her eyes cold enough to freeze the sun. The hawk on her shoulder shrieks. The bear gives a low, rumbling growl. The gray wolf takes a step forward, its lips peeling back to reveal long, yellow canines. They are mirroring her emotions, her contempt, her hatred. "You are trespassing, Alpha King," she says, and her voice is not the soft, timid thing I remember. It is the voice of a ruler, low, clear, and laced with steel. It cuts me deeper than any blade. State your business. Oh, and then leave my lands. I am the most powerful alpha on the continent. I have never begged for anything in my life. But looking at her now, at the queen I made from the girl I broke, I know that is all I have left. I am the supplicant. She holds all the power. And the chasm between us, the one I created with my own pride and cruelty, feels wider and more impossible than ever. The coldness in her eyes is a physical barrier, more formidable than the wall of beasts that surrounds her. My wolf whines in my head, a pathetic, wounded sound. It wants to grovel, to drop to its belly, and expose its throat, to do anything to erase the ice from her gaze. But the king in me still has a duty. "I have come to ask for your help," I say, keeping my voice steady despite the hurricane raging inside me. My lands are plagued by shadow creatures. The Umbra. They come from these woods. My warriors cannot fight them. We are told you know of them, that you might know how to stop them. A bitter, humorless smile touches her lips. It is a chilling sight. The pack that cast me out now comes begging for my aid. She lets out a short, sharp laugh that holds no warmth. "Why should I help you? The Black Moon Pack is nothing to me. Your people watched as you condemned me. They felt nothing but relief. Let the shadows have them." Her words are stones, and they hit their mark. Each one is a deserved punishment. I have no defense against her accusations. They are the absolute truth. They are my people, I say, my voice dropping. They were your people. They are innocent in my crime. There are no innocents in a pack that allows its alpha to commit such an act, she counters, now her voice sharp as flint. Their silence was their consent. Your kingdom is a reflection of its king, Draven, and you are cruel and weak. Weak. The word she throws at me is the very one I used to condemn her, the fear that drove my rejection. Hearing it from her lips is a fresh kind of agony. She is right. My rejection of her was not an act of strength, but the ultimate act of weakness. Before I can respond, the world goes dark. The sun, which had been filtering through the canopy, is suddenly blotted out. The temperature plummets, and a wave of absolute dread washes over the clearing. The animals around Alara bristle, their growls turning low and desperate. Fen, the great wolf, presses against her leg, a living shield. The umbra. They pour from the trees, not like a tide, but like a stain spreading across reality. They are formless, la shifting things of pure shadow, their edges indistinct. They have no scent, no sound, only an aura of life-draining cold. My guards form a defensive circle, their swords useless against these ethereal horrors. My wolf snarls, instinct warring with the unnatural terror these things exude. But Alara is not afraid. She is furious. Her face is a mask of cold rage. You led them here, she snarls at me, her eyes blazing. They are drawn to the pack scent, to your power. She raises a hand. She does not shout. She does not need to. A command, silent and absolute, ripples out from her. The forest explodes into action. Her army, the beasts of the wood, attack. Wolves slam into the shadows, their teeth finding purchase where our blades cannot. Bears rise onto their hind legs, swiping with claws that seem to sizzle as they connect with the umbra. And hawks dive from the sky, their talons tearing at the shifting forms. It is chaos, a beautiful, terrifying primal war. Ilara is the calm at the center of the storm. She directs her forces with small gestures, a flick of her wrist, sending a wolf pack to flank a larger shadow, a nod of her head commanding the bear to defend a weak point. She is a general, a conductor of a savage orchestra. I watch, utterly mesmerized, useless. My guards and I are out of our depth, our shifter's strength meaning nothing here. We are in her world now, and she is its absolute master. We fight side by side because we have to. A shadow lunges for me, and the black bear, with a roar, intercepts it, tearing the thing apart. I find myself back to back with Kale, the beta shifter I'd smelled on her. His presence a sharp sting of jealousy. And we are all soldiers in her army. The battle is brutal and disorienting. The Umbra do not bleed. They do not cry out. They simply dissipate when enough damage is done, only for another to rise in its place. The fighting lasts for what feels like an eternity. When the last shadow dissolves into nothingness, an exhausted silence falls over the clearing. The sun returns, illuminating a scene of carnage. Several of Alara's wolves are down, their bodies withered and gray, their life force stolen. The sight sends a pang of guilt through me. This is my fault. I brought this battle to her doorstep. Ilara goes to one of her fallen wolves, kneeling beside it. She places a hand on its still form, her shoulders slumping. The queen is gone for a moment, replaced by a woman mourning her family. The sight breaks something inside me, and the last vestiges of my pride crumble into dust. Later, as Kale tends to the wounded beasts and my guards keep a wary watch, I find her alone by a small stream, washing the grime of battle from her hands. The water runs black from her skin. This is my chance, my only chance. I do not approach her as a king. I walk toward her as the male who destroyed her life. I stop a few feet away, not wanting to crowd her. She doesn't look at me, her attention fixed on the water. Alara, I begin, my voice rough with an emotion I can no longer contain. What I did to you. There are no words. There are no excuses. She remains silent, her back ramrod straight. I take a breath, the truth a painful weight in my chest that I must finally give voice to. I was a coward. I was terrified. The council, my father's teachings, they all warned that a wolfless mate would be the downfall of the Black Moon line, a sign of weakness. And when I saw you, so small and gentle, and felt the bond, I panicked. My pride, my fear of looking weak, was more important to me than my own soul. More important than you. The words are ash in my mouth. Admitting it, saying it aloud, makes the crime feel even more heinous. I broke the most sacred law of our kind. I broke you. I broke myself. Every day since has been a torment. My wolf. He has not forgiven me. He may never forgive me. I see your face every time I close my eyes. I feel the bond snap every single morning when I wake up. I deserve it. I deserve all of it. I can see her hands trembling in the water. She is listening. With every ounce of will I possess, I force my legs to move. And I walk forward and sink to my knees in the damp earth before her. I lower my head, and then, in the ultimate act of shifter submission, I tilt my head back, baring my throat. My carotid artery is exposed. A single, swift slash from her knife is all it would take. It is the highest apology a wolf can offer. My life is yours to take for the wrong I have done. My life is yours, Ilara. I whisper, my voice cracking. It has been yours since the moment I first saw you. If taking it will give you peace, then do it. My kingdom is yours. Command me to abandon my throne, and I will. I ask for nothing. Not your help, not your alliance, and I would never, ever dare to ask for your forgiveness. I had to tell you the truth. I was wrong. I was a fool. And I am so, so sorry for the pain I caused you. I close my eyes, waiting for the sting of the blade, for the cold finality of her judgment. I wait for her to exact the justice I so richly deserve. The silence stretches, thick with the scent of damp earth, her own scent of power and lilac, and my own wretched regret. The blade never comes. Instead, I hear a shaky breath. When I dare to open my eyes, she is looking down at me, and the ice in her gaze has finally cracked. Through the fissure, I see not hatred, but a deep, profound ocean of pain. A single tear traces a path through the dirt on her cheek. Kale stands at the edge of the woods, having witnessed the entire exchange. His face is a mask of quiet sorrow. He knows, in that moment, what I have only just begun to hope for. That no matter how kind, how safe, how good he is, he cannot compete with the storm of a fated bond, even a broken one. Later that night, as I sit by a small fire, keeping a lonely vigil, Kale approaches me. Not Ilara, but him. He sits across from me, the firelight flickering in his moss-green eyes. She is remarkable, is she not? He says quietly. It is not a question. I can only nod, my throat too tight to speak. I love her, he says, and the simple, honest confession is like a dagger in my gut. I love her strength, her fire. I would give her a lifetime of peace. I would protect her from everything, including you. His gaze is hard, challenging. I know, I managed to say. You are a good male, Kyle. You are what she deserves. He shakes his head, a sad smile on his face. No, I am what she could settle for. I can offer her a calm harbor, but her soul belongs to the tempest. That bond. I see the way it still pulls at her. Oh, I see the way it burns in you. It's a storm, and she was born to command storms, not hide from them. He looks toward her shelter, where a soft light glows from within. She is a queen. She does not need a protector. She needs an equal, a partner who can stand with her in the heart of the fire. He stands, brushing the dirt from his breeches. She will make her choice. But do not for a second think you have earned her. The groveling has just begun, King Draven. If she chooses you, you will spend the rest of your life atoning for your sins. I hope, for her sake, you are worthy of that chance. He turns and walks away, leaving me with the weight of his words. The next morning, he is gone. He left a single, perfectly carved wooden wolf by Alara's door. A silent goodbye. He has gracefully, painfully, removed himself from the equation, leaving Alara with an even more impossible choice. He has given her freedom, and now the fate of my kingdom and my soul rests entirely in her hands. The Umbra are not just a random plague, they are an army, and they have a general. My connection to the beasts of the forest gives me a unique perspective. I can feel the life of the woods, and I can feel the way the Umbra corrupt it. They are drawn to concentrations of life, of power. Draven's arrival, his potent alpha energy, acted as a beacon, leading them straight to my sanctuary. Now, I feel them gathering again, a massive force coalescing on the edge of my territory, but they are not pointed at me. They are aimed at the Black Moon Citadel. They are using me. The Umbra Lord, the ancient, corrupted entity that commands them, knows of my power. It was my awakening that stirred it from its slumber deep beneath the earth. It wants to consume me, to absorb my unique life-giving energy, and it will use the destruction of the Black Moon Pack to draw me out into the open. It will force me to defend the very people who scorned me, a final, bitter irony. I stand on the highest point of my territory, a rocky precipice overlooking the vast expanse of forest that separates me from Draven's kingdom. Fen is at my side, his body a warm, solid presence. The choice is a poison arrow in my heart. I could let them burn. I could stay here, in my fortress of wood and stone, with my loyal subjects, and let Draven's world be consumed by the shadows he inadvertently led to his door. It would be justice. But then I see the faces of the pack in my mind. Not just the sneering nobles, but the children playing in the streets, the elders telling stories, the common shifters who were guilty of nothing more than following their king. Can I condemn them all for the sins of one man? For the silence of a few hundred? Protect, the sovereign inside me hums. It is not a command specific to my beasts. It is a fundamental aspect of my power. To protect life, all life, Draven finds me there. He approaches slowly, without his guards, as if sensing the monumental decision I am wrestling with. He does not speak, just stands beside me, his gaze following mine toward the horizon, where the sky is already beginning to look unnaturally dark. They are going to attack the citadel, he says, his voice low and heavy. It is not a question. Yes, I reply, my voice flat. It will be a slaughter. Your walls cannot stop them. Your warriors will be overwhelmed in minutes. I know. He turns to face me, his silver eyes filled with a desperate plea. But I will not ask you to fight for them, Ilara. This is my failure, my burden to bear. I will ride back. I will stand with my people, and I will die with them. It is the only honorable thing I have left to do. I only came to say goodbye and to thank you for showing me what a true ruler looks like. He is going to his death. He is choosing to die with his people rather than ask me to save them. It is the act of a king, not the arrogant tyrant who rejected me, but a true alpha protecting his pack to the very end. The proof of his change is not in his words of apology, not in his kneeling. It is here, in this selfless, suicidal decision. The scar on my soul aches, a sharp, twisting pain. It is the bond, my screaming at the thought of his impending death. My wolf, my sovereign, the ancient power within me, rises up, a roaring tide of possession. No, ours to protect, ours to save. The conflict inside me is a raging war. My mind, my wounded heart screams for justice, for him to pay the price. But my soul, the ancient, powerful core of me, knows the truth. Our destinies are intertwined. His death will not heal me. It will only leave me permanently broken, half of a whole. You are a fool if you think I will let you die, I hear myself say, the words torn from me against my will. He looks at me, his eyes wide with shock. Ilara? The Umbra Lord wants me, I say, the pieces clicking into place with terrifying clarity. It will destroy your entire kingdom to draw me out. I cannot let thousands die because of my pride. I turn to him, my eyes hard, my decision made. I will fight, not for you, Draven, not for your pack. I will fight for the innocents you have endangered. I will fight because it is my duty as sovereign of this land to protect it from a threat like this. It is a lie, a half-truth. I am fighting for them, yes. But as I look at him, at the man who is willing to die for his mistake, I know I am also fighting for him. The battle for the Citadel is a nightmare. The Umbra wash over the outer walls like a black tide, pouring into the streets. The Black Moon warriors fight with desperate bravery, but it is a losing battle. Their claws and blades pass through the shadows, and for every Umbra they manage to dissipate, another takes its place, draining the life from them with its chilling touch. Then we arrive. I enter the main gate not on foot, but on the back of the great black bear, Fen and my wolf pack streaming in around me. The beasts of the forest follow, a tidal wave of tooth and claw. The besieged warriors of the Black Moon Pack stare in stunned silence as their salvation arrives in the form of the wolfless Omega they banished, leading an army of wild things. Draven is a whirlwind of silver fur and fury at my side. His true wolf form a magnificent, terrible sight. He fights with a desperation I have never seen, protecting his people, protecting me. We are the eye of the storm, a vortex of power that cuts through the Umbra ranks. The Umbra Lord reveals itself. It rises in the center of the main square, a towering figure of concentrated shadow, a mockery of a shifter's form with long, grasping talons and empty sockets where its eyes should be. All the smaller shadows flow back into it, consolidating its power. It focuses its attention entirely on me, the source of the life it craves. It lets out a silent scream that shakes my very soul, and a tendril of pure darkness, impossibly fast, lashes out, aimed directly at my heart. I have no time to react. The blow is fatal. I know it, but it never lands. A flash of silver intercepts it. Draven. He throws himself in front of me, taking the full force of the Umberlord's attack. He roars, a sound of defiance and agony, as the shadow tendril pierces his shoulder, black veins of corruption spreading instantly across his silver fur. He is thrown backward, crashing to the ground, his magnificent form flickering, struggling to hold its shape. He is dying. He has given his life for mine. Seeing him fall, seeing the life drained from him, and seeing his ultimate sacrifice, it breaks the final dam in my heart. The war inside me is over. My rage, my pain, my need for justice, it all washes away, replaced by a single, overwhelming certainty. I love him, not just the mate bond, but him, the flawed, broken, redeemed male who just proved his worth with his own lifeblood. Ours, claim, save. The voice of my sovereign is a deafening roar in my mind, and for the first time, my heart is in complete agreement. I run to him. I drop to my knees beside his struggling form. His silver eyes, glazed with pain, find mine. Ilara, he rasps, a trickle of black corruption leaking from his mouth. Live. No, I whisper, my voice thick with tears I refuse to let fall. We live. Together. I place my hand over his heart, where the umbra's poison is spreading fastest. I close my eyes and reach for the bond, the broken, agonizing thing between us. I don't push it away. I don't fight it. I grasp it with my will and I pull. I pour all of my love, my forgiveness, my acceptance into it. I choose you, Draven, I say, my voice ringing with the power of the sovereign. Not the king who rejected me, but the wolf who would die for me. I claim you. You are mine. I consciously, willingly accept the bond. The frayed ends snap together. But it does not just heal. It reforges. A blinding explosion of golden light erupts from us, a shockwave of pure life and power. It is the joining of the Alpha King and the Beast Sovereign, a power not seen in 1,000 years. The light slams into the surrounding umbra, vaporizing them instantly. The black corruption recedes from Draven's fur, banished by the raw energy of the completed bond. The bond is no longer a painful scar or a screaming need. It is a river of golden warmth, a perfect, harmonious chord humming between our souls. I feel his strength, his love, his relief. He feels my power, my forgiveness, my acceptance. We are whole. Draven rises, his wolf form now glowing with a faint golden light. His wounds are gone. He looks at me, and in his eyes, I see a reverence, a devotion that takes my breath away. We do not need words. The bond says it all. We turn to face the Umbra Lord as one. The entity recoils from our combined light, its shadowy form flickering. It has failed. It sought to consume me, and instead, it has forged a weapon that will be its undoing. Our powers are now intertwined. His alpha strength is magnified by my sovereign command. My connection to the living world is anchored and amplified by his raw power. I raise my hands, and the earth itself seems to answer my call. Roots and vines erupt from the cobblestones, snaring the Umbra Lord, holding it fast. The beasts of the forest and the warriors of the Black Moon Pack, united now, launch a final desperate assault. Draven and I move together, a seamless dance of destruction. He is the claw and fang. I am the will and the way. He tears at the entity's physical form while I attack its spiritual core, flooding it with the pure, life-giving energy of our completed bond. The Umbra Lord shrieks, a sound of tearing fabric and dying stars as the light consumes it from within. With a final, explosive implosion, it is gone, leaving nothing but clean air and the stunned silence of the dawn. In the aftermath, as the first rays of sun touch the battered citadel, there is a moment of absolute silence. Then, a single warrior drops to one knee, then another and another. Soon, the entire Black Moon Pack, warriors and citizens alike, are kneeling. But they are not just kneeling to their Alpha King. Their heads are bowed to both of us. They saw the sacrifice. They saw the power. They saw the truth. I am not a flaw. I am their salvation. I am their queen. Draven, now back in his human form, stands beside me. He does not try to take center stage. He simply stands at my side, a partner, an equal. His presence is a warm, solid anchor. He looks out at his kneeling pack, then looks at me, his silver eyes shining with an emotion so deep it makes my heart ache. Our people, he says softly, correcting his earlier words. And in those two words, a new world is born. A year passes. The scars on the citadel have been repaired, but the memory of the battle remains, a humbling reminder of our brush with annihilation. The Whispering Woods and the Black Moon territory are no longer separate domains. They are one kingdom, ruled by two monarchs. Draven and I rule as equals, a partnership forged in fire and forgiveness. His wisdom and experience as a leader are tempered by my connection to the land and its creatures. My wild, primal power is grounded by his steady strength. We are better together than we ever were apart. He never stops trying to earn me. Every day is a new act of devotion. He brings me the first lilac bloom of spring. He seeks my counsel on every decision, from trade disputes to border patrols, valuing my opinion above all others. He has rebuilt the stables himself, not for horses, but as a sanctuary for any wounded animal my wolves might find. It is his quiet, constant penance. Tonight, we are not in the cold stone of the citadel. We are in the heart of the woods, in the clearing that was once my only home. A fire crackles, sending sparks up toward a canopy of brilliant stars. Fen lies at my feet, his great head on my lap, while the black bear snores softly by the edge of the trees. This is where I feel most myself, most at peace. Draven sits beside me, his arm wrapped around my shoulders. The bond between us is a constant gentle hum, a song of contentment and deep, abiding love. It is no longer a storm, but a vast, calm ocean. The scars of our journey are still there, faint lines on our souls that will never truly disappear. They are a part of our story. He reaches out, his fingers gently tracing the line of my jaw. His touch no longer feels like lightning, but like coming home. It is a warmth that spreads all the way to my soul. Every day, he says, his voice a low, reverent murmur against the sounds of the night. I thank the goddess that you were strong enough to survive my weakness. I lean into his touch, closing my eyes. The girl who was broken on the floor of the Great Hall is a ghost, a story I tell myself to remember how far I have come. She is a part of me, but she is not all of me. I am a survivor, a queen, a mate. And I thank her. I whisper back, opening my eyes to look into his, that you were strong enough to change. He leans in and kisses me, a slow, gentle kiss full of a history of pain and a future of promise. It is the kiss of a man who has been to hell and back for a chance at redemption. It is the kiss of a woman who found her power, not in the beast she lacked, but in the strength of her own spirit. We are not a fairy tale. We are not a perfect, fated love. We are earned. We are scarred. But here, in the heart of our kingdom, under the watchful eyes of the stars, we are finally, completely whole.